But yeah, we're doing some live deal analysis. It's actually going to be the setup. So I'm going to be sharing with you not just how to analyze deals. We've actually covered that many times, but what we'll be focusing on today is actually how to set up your workflow when you're going to be sitting down and analyzing deals. So as you'll see here, I want to remove this, and we want to go under a mortgage calculator. So first step is you'll want a mortgage calculator, which you'll see once I share my screen. And this is all about the setup. So we will be analyzing a few deals. More importantly, though, is how you want to have your computer when you're doing deal analysis, or what steps to take. What is going to be important for you? Main part is you have a mortgage calculator, because we're going to use that to calculate how much is going to be your cost of money. Then we have property assessment details. This is found, if you guys don't remember, it's in the Winnipeg website. If you just Google Winnipeg assessment, what you're trying to get to is this property assessment search. From here, it's in the self-service tab, online tax information. Every city has their own version of this. Essentially, it's what the city will assess the property as. What I found is that this assessment tends to be lower than the actual ARV. So if you can actually buy a house underneath city assessment or underneath property assessment, tends to be a very good deal. Next, what you'll also want is, if you have a realtor that you're working with, you want your Keystone Matrix or their listings that they're setting you, where this is going to be the public deals. If you're bringing your own leads, well, then you're going to have most likely, like I use Facebook for managing my own private leads, or even MailChimp if I'm sending out emails. So let's look at all my listings here. And preferably for starters, you will want to work with a realtor, right? It's just you get mass amount of leads. And yesterday we were actually at the MREA event, Manitoba Real Estate Investment Association event, and we're talking about how it in the next 90 days is going to be a great time to be buying deals. I actually like to buy deals November, December, but then not take possession till the springtime. This gives me a few months where I'll actually gain appreciation from holding these properties without actually being on title just yet, because I'm not taking possession just yet, meaning my mortgage also doesn't start. And then I can start renovations closer to springtime, early spring, late winter, and have it ready for summer when people are wanting to move. If you're doing flips, then you can put them in the hotter market at that time. But from October, November, and December is going to be a great time to pick up properties. So first, once I get onto here, if you guys are using a Keystone Matrix, what I actually want to look at is not photos of these deals and asking prices, addresses, but I want what's called the list view, client single line. So if I click here, if I go client single line, and your realtor will set this up. This is why in the homework pieces, the ones that have already done sessions with me, if you haven't, the homework pieces, you want to have a realtor and actually set up a Keystone Matrix after you've picked your niche market, and then once you've chosen what type of deals you're looking for. Or maybe it's, for me, I like to look at 2-bedroom, 1-baths in the West End over 700 or 800 square feet. So you can see all this info. And what I actually want here is I want to find out not just square footage, but how many bedrooms there are. Okay, this is rooms. We got full bedrooms, full bathrooms, half baths. Is there a garage? So we'll go to bedroom routes, and I actually want it not starting at 0, but I want the most amount of bedrooms to the least amount. Okay. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to look at everything under that has less than 2 bedrooms. I'm actually going to delete that. So there's actually a lot of deals here. Okay, so we're starting to get to the ones here. So here's where it gets cut off around, oh, these are still 2 bedrooms. Just looking at the third line. Okay, all these deals down below, I'm gonna delete because I don't even want to look at these deals. And I'm just clicking this trash box here to be able to delete these deals. Now, something I learned is that you do have to go back to my searches and then back to your agent search while doing this, or else they won't delete them. It'll just like, you'll click delete, but you won't actually delete them. This is where you actually want to get to know how your realtors listings work, because they're not going to be all the same. Like I've done, looked at this Keystone Matrix. They call it something else in Alberta, but they're all a little bit finicky. So you want to know how it works. That's part of your setup, right? Once you get the hang of this, then you'll see it's going to be very easily free flowing when analyzing our deals. So let's go back. And again, I'm going to click. Now that I got rid of all the 0 beds, now we're just at 2 bedrooms and above. Again, I'm going to put it into order of ranking. I want most amount of bedrooms to least amount. Now I actually will look at these four bedrooms just to see. Next here, because I'm getting sent 5A, 5C, 5D, and 5E. These are all different areas in the West End. I like to actually pick up homes in the West End. I don't like to pick up in 5A, not right now anyway. So I'll actually want to just look at 5Cs, 5Ds, and 5Es. So I'll actually go to the area, the AR code here. I can tell it's showing me the areas. Again, I'll click that just so it's putting it in a certain order. Then now I want to see K. So now it's putting all the 5As together. 5A, for the ones that don't know, it's on the east side of Arlington. So if you have Arlington in the West End, past Logan, more south of Logan, on the east side of Arlington is what we would call 5A. And I do not want to see these listings. So again, part of the setup is just cleaning this up, organizing the info, and then we're gonna delete all of these. Use 2 hands for this and build faster. By the way, you can't do this on a phone. So you will need a laptop or a computer to do this. You can see the listings on your phone. You just can't see this client single line like this. I actually prefer a tablet or like a Microsoft Surface Pro, or I have a touchscreen on my laptop, but I'm not using it for this for today. So again, I gotta go back to my searches, back into here. Okay, now it's back to client single line. As you see, I'm just organizing info. Next, now I want to prioritize what's been sitting, because we're going to this time where for the next 90 days, it's going to be a good time to buy because it's getting cold, especially in Winnipeg, even the ones in Edmonton, Calgary. As it gets colder, other landlords also don't want their homes vacant, and other people that need to sell their home and want to sell their home are getting a little bit annoyed. People will want a clean start and sell their home before the end of the year, like December 31st. They want to start January with a fresh, clean start and then get onto their new property, their new house. Maybe they want to move to a different province, but they just want that fresh start for 2024, let's say. So with that in mind, I'm going to look at days on market, DOM. It's right here. Click this. Now I'll see. Now again, it's ranking it from the least amount. So these are new, you can see that these are new properties, just came on market. Don't necessarily want to look at that just yet. I actually will prefer to look at properties that have been on market for a very long time. This is 176 days, goes all the way to like 90 days here. So let's take a look. We have, and then now let's put it into price. I can see the price here as well. We have this house back on market. Interesting. Why is that interesting? Because someone wasn't able to close on this. Maybe they didn't get financing. Maybe they didn't pass conditions. A few reasons why possibly it could not work out for them. Now, what I'm looking here is I could also see the price range of these homes that are days on market that are over 91 days on market. We'll put over 90 days on market right here. Now, this is where I actually start shopping. Now, do I actually care about the seller's asking price? Not necessarily. Okay. What I'm actually going to do here now, and this is where city assessment comes into play, I'll start looking at these properties that are 90 days over, still on market. We'll start at 89. So this is 91. And then from 1060 Ingersoll upwards, I'm actually going to search these up into property assessment. Now I'm going to be doing this by hand because I have my notebook. I can't really see in there. But what I'm actually going to be writing down is I want the address. Then I'm going to find what the asking price is here. Because I know these are all 90 days on market. I got asking, and then I got city assessed. Okay, this is what I'm going to find on my property assessment here. So let's start with 1060 Ingersoll. So how this works, I'm going to go 1060. 1060. Got Ingersoll. That one search. Now what this is going to bring me is the city assessment info. So you got the 2024 tax assessment roll. So this is the market value based on the city's opinion, city's eyes, as of 2021. 194 compared to they're asking for 204, right? So it could be worth that now. 2022 to 2023 was a little bit of that dip. Now we're actually above. I believe I was looking at an accountant there, and we were taking a look at Manitoba's prices going up by, I believe it was 4.38% on average, if I remember properly. So this is priced above city assessed. Okay, so it's 20 grand above city, or sorry, 10 grand above city assessed. What I'm looking for is something that is already below city assessment and has been sitting for 90 days. So let's try 369 Lipton. 369. Out here, 195. They're asking 199.9. So we got 369 Lipton. The ask is 199 and 9K, basically 200 grand. City assessed for 195. But that's also, we got to remember, this is city assessed at 2021. This is probably a little bit more now. So this is actually possibly a good deal. So what I'm going to do with that, because I'm a little interested, and when I mean a little interested, I'm going to put a little heart here. And this is favoriting your deal there. So that means I actually want to take a look at that even further. 833 Alexander, I'm already looking at the price 267. I don't really buy at that price range, so I'm not going to look at that. This is why you want to know how much you're pre-approved for and how much you're actually willing to buy these homes for. Right? I want to do burrs or even possibly wholesale these deals. Could also be a possible flip. That being said, I don't want to buy in the above 250K. 594 Lipton. It's promising. So I go back. Okay, 594 Lipton. 594 Lipton. All I'm doing here is I'm just gathering data on what is it that I like and what fits my parameters. This is part of your setup, right? This is how you want to have this flow and start looking at these deals. So it's 2021 assessed at 163. So now this is actually well below city assessment, assuming again that this is 2021 prices, but they're asking for 159.9K. And this deal, 1912, 992 square feet, 2 bathroom, 1 bath, and 1/2 bath. Interesting. So again, I like this deal. What am I going to do? I'm going to add a favorite. I'm actually just going to delete Alexander. I don't want to look at this. So that'll be delete. Okay, now we got Logan Avenue, 1899, 1903. So I'm not going to take a look at that. A little too old for my liking, right? I like to buy now newer than 1910. 1910 is the oldest I'll go, actually. So now we got in 5D, 1857 Alexander, super cheap at 136K. So bungalow 1921. Now it's 694 square feet. It's just below 700 square feet. Am I going to look at it? If I really wanted to close a deal, and my goal was to actually get a deal that cash flows and that could make sense, I might look at this, but right now I might not. But you know what? Because it's 1921, I do like 1920s. I'm going to write it down anyway. So it's 1857 Alexander. And then they're asking 136K. Should write this down. 136K. And then let's search it up here. Okay, so we got 1850, was it 1856? 1857. Alexander. Let's take a look. Assessed at 111. So they're asking 136, but it's assessed in 2021 at 111. A little less interested now. Next one. I do like this street Ashburn, but if I look at the price, this could work as a turnkey property, but not necessarily what I'm looking for right now. So get rid of that. Ingersoll is back on market. 219,999 is their asking price. 153 days on market. It is a bungalow. 1904 though, but it is a big house. Don't want to get a 1904 house. Maybe, but not right. Garfield. I love Garfield. Great street. 142 Garfield. What are they asking? 285 though. So now that is well above the parameters I'm looking for. It is a 2-story house, 1914. So again, I won't look at that. Next, we got Catherine Avenue, 1518. 1518 Catherine. Down, we got 117.9K, like 9K. So we got 1518. Catherine. I have a feeling this will be priced below city assessment. Oh, that's weird. Oh, Catherine. Okay. Kings 18, 1518. Random fun fact, I say my numbers in French in my head. Even when I count out loud, I usually say it en français. Okay, 1518 Catherine. Oh, look at that. City assessed 123K in 2021, but they're asking 117. So there's at least 5K on the buy there. Not bad. And it's been sitting for 176 days on market. 1923, over 900 square feet, 3-bedroom, 1 bath, no garage, no half bath. It's a 1.5 story. Do like that deal. That is promising. And then we got McDermott Ave, 215, 1903. Okay. So out of the ones that kind of passed this initial test, you got 3. So again, I'm just looking at the properties that are over 90 days on market in my price range that I'm looking to buy, do some burrs, possibly flips, and even if it makes sense, even wholesale these. And that are newer than 1910. So we'll start with 369 Lipton. So this is a 1910 home, brick front. Just want to look at the photos real quick. Okay. You could actually get away with just painting these. I do like the wooden kitchens. I know it's not in style right now, but I do like, personally, I like my wooden kitchens. Okay, not too many photos. Worth taking a look at. You got to do the flooring. Maybe change the lights. You have the tile, or could be a drop ceiling. Does have a high efficiency furnace. Cool. So let's see here. Now, do I want to buy this? What was this? This was Lipton, 369 Lipton. Okay, yeah, this was assessed for 195. Okay. So now as we look at this, 2-bedroom, 2-bath home. Now we got the numbers here. And these are the numbers we want to plug and play. This is where we'll go into our property analyzer. So let's take a look at this one. Or how are you for time? Yeah, we can take a look at this one. We do have to get this well below this price, but now's the time where we can make these lowball offers, right? So we got 2443.29. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take this tax amount and divide it by 12. So on my computer, my phone there. And that's what I'm going to plug into. I like to find expenses first. I find it's a little bit easier. So property tax, it's going to be 203. Let's round up, 204,000. 369 Lipton. Purchase price, not going to put this in yet. So I want to try and get this house one below city assessed and below their asking price. Insurances, I'm going to put 140. Assuming it's your first deal, you're probably going to pay a little bit more, 120, 140. Once you get a few more deals, then your insurance gets put into a commercial package and you actually save money. So insurance is one of those expenses where the more properties you have, the more that you can actually save. Utilities, tenants are going to pay. You're going to figure out maintenance and management later, vacancy later. You just want to find out this for now. Okay. See what else info we have here. At the sides, you can see here, basement, full basement. That's awesome. You can see the heating, forced air. Basement is unfinished. Now, 1910, 2 bedrooms, 2 baths. Immediately, I know I can rent this out for about $13.50. $13.50. I actually have a older home, not even technically it's a full basement. It's like just under the height, 7 feet exactly. And that rents for $1,300. And that's not as nice as this home actually. Parking, I'll leave it at 0. Laundry, leave it at 0 because it's a rental. Other, I'm just going to leave that at 0. So total income is going to be $13.50. Okay. From there, now I can actually calculate this. I'm going to use formulas for this, make it a little bit easier. I changed this as I moved it to Google Docs, but I also want to create the formulas here. You guys will get access to this. I'll send it to you right away. I know you guys have probably the Excel version, but if you want this version, send me a message or just let me know on the Facebook. I'll probably just put a link anyway, so everyone has it. Management, I'll put 6%, 0.06. 10% management is premium, right? I always say that if you're paying 10% management, they should be doing your bookkeeping and even projections on these deals. Now, vacancy, again, are we losing 8% every month? Not necessarily. It's just for setting us up. So when we do have a vacancy, you don't have to pay out of pocket. It's already built into your deal. Okay. I have 2 vacancies right now out of my whole portfolio, which isn't that bad. It's when your vacancies hurt more when you have less properties, of course, because now it's one property is a larger chunk of your portfolio. That's not right. Okay, oh, it's times 10. Okay, that's not right. There you go. Okay, that's better. So what are we looking at? We are looking at a subtotal of, oops. So subtotal of 682, net operating income of 682, subtotal 668, sorry. Net operating income. So total rents minus expenses. This is why understanding your financial statement is so key. This is our net operating income. Then we have our mortgage that we want to hold still, right? So for us to, this is how you reverse engineer things. For us to cash flow, this is going to be part of the homework I'm going to give you guys because we're right on time. I want to make sure that you guys have some actionable steps as you see this first part. Is for us to cash flow $250, let's say I want cash flow $250. Remember, it's not about doing more deals, it's about adding to your cash flow. Okay, if a deal isn't cash flow, it doesn't make sense, don't do it. It's not worth it. Unless you're already sitting on millions of dollars, you just want to park money into real estate, diversify that way. That's a different strategy. For us that want financial freedom to buy back our time, we want to generate cash flow after all this, because if you can cash flow after a 10% maintenance, which you're not actually paying that every single month, after management fee, even if you're managing yourself, you could pay that to yourself, and a vacancy rate, to cash flow $250 at that point is a great deal. So how do we do that? I'm just going to take my total net operating income right here, and then I'm going to make sure that we have enough there. So 250 minus 668. Okay. Now I want to make sure that this is done properly, but this is actually getting minused as well. Because why is my net operating income different? It's that minus, okay. Subtotal is equal to 26. Okay, that's good. Always want to double check formulas when I use this, just because I know if I make changes, I don't want to screw up the numbers. So I need a mortgage here of about 418. So if I just put this in, 418. Now cash flowing 264, right? Very healthy. I can actually cash flow even 428. Yeah, put it that. Call it 430, so it's an easy number. So I want to figure out, and this is where the prop mortgage payment calculator comes into play. In that, how do I make this deal make sense for me, or maybe your situation, right? How do we make this deal make sense so that we have a 430 mortgage and that cash flows us 250? It's going to be our purchase price. Now I could, and it's also, you got to remember, if you're burning this, that's your end mortgage. That's the new mortgage you got to get, right? So if I go back here, it's the question of how low can I buy this house so it makes sense to have a $430 mortgage. So let's say we really lowball this guy because he's been sitting on this house for a long time. If we even look back, I think it's like over, I think this was around either 91 days on market. So just quickly calculate this. Let's say I buy it for, and I'm going to really lowball this guy, 150,000. So if I buy this house for 150,000, I have a $220,000 mortgage. Choosing a 5-year fixed, 30-year AM, payment frequency. I don't want any mortgage insurance. Calculate my payments. That's pretty high still, right? It's well above that amount. Now, this is a pretty high mortgage, so I want to use this higher amount. I know a few of you are already approved at like 5.54%. So I'm just going to see, I want to actually apply at a higher rate just to see if this makes sense even more. So even if I buy this at 130,000 times 0.8, so it's 104,000 for my mortgage. It changes it quickly. So you have to buy this very cheap. And this is why this next 90 days is going to be a great way to get deals, because you can really lowball these properties. And then again, if it doesn't make sense, you don't have to feel bad because it just doesn't make sense as a deal, right? You could also increase rents on this, but too bad, too bad. Yeah. If I buy this at close to land value, so 100 grand, that's $80,000 as a mortgage. Now it starts to make a little bit more sense. So you got to really, like, that's a half off. Okay. And I know it sounds aggressive, but if you're in a spot where, again, you don't need to buy homes, don't get into this scarcity mindset where you feel like you need to do a deal just to do a deal. I see people screw this up often, especially during pandemic times, right? People got too excited. Don't get too excited. Even if it sounds like a crazy offer, you throw in $100,000 offer on this deal, it can make sense, right? 492. If we go back, so now we're going to pay a mortgage of 492. 492. Cash flow is 190 plus maintenance, management, vacancy. This deal makes sense at that price. So get comfortable going through this process, get comfortable reverse engineering your cash flows, and then make sure, like, it's under 200 grand, 200. I'm thinking thousands so much. Fun fact, you can teach kids how to count in thousands, just like they can count apples, just like they can count units. So I actually play this game with Christine, my girlfriend's stepsister, half sister, I should say, and I get her to count in thousands. Pretty fascinating. It's like 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. Anyway, getting distracted there. But $190 cash flow. It's close enough to 200. Buying a house, this purchase would make sense, 100K. You get an $80,000 mortgage, 20% down. And then that's also after you burr it, if you're trying to burr it, right? So I probably wouldn't even burr this deal. This would just be a buy and hold. If I could buy for 100 grand, put $80,000 as a mortgage, and then find 20 grand to do this deal, 20 grand a month. If you were to borrow that at 10%, 20,000, 2,000 a year, divided by 12, it's $166. So even if I added $166 to this, plus, so that includes my full cost of money, I think it still makes sense as a deal. 658. Bam. So you cash only $24, but you're paying off your interest each month. You get all this to manage it. This will actually make sense if you joint ventured with someone, especially if they can hold the mortgage. It's a little bit more interesting if you give them a little bit of the equity as opposed to paying them 10% a year. But you still cash with $24 and you get technically $108 as long as the deal is not vacant. You can actually put a tenant in there, and your management, you can pay that to yourself if you're managing it, and the maintenance, you're not actually spending this. I would put this in a reserve fund as well, though. That CapEx is going to be key. This is why it's a little bit higher. CapEx That's why I put at 10, not like 6 or 8%. About 6% or half of this goes to repairs. The other half, if not more, goes to what's called CapEx or capital expenditures. So homework this week before I let you guys go is essentially you want to take a look at going through this process, setting yourself up so you know your workflow, you have your city assessment, you have your deals coming in, you've gone through organizing at least what you're looking for when you use a keystone so that you remember which deals make sense and what's in your criteria. I showed you a little bit of my criteria today. And then checking for a city assessment to see what deals make sense, then analyzing it almost in reverse. We want to make sure, how do we make the deal make sense? Okay. Even if you get a ridiculous number, we're going to that time of year where, what was it? 369 Lipton, they're asking for 100 grand, 200 grand. Why not offer 100 grand? That's where the deal actually makes sense as a buy and hold. And now, for sure, check out the property first to see if there's actually some more hidden issues, because the assumption we just made is that this is turnkey, right? It has to be bought at 100 grand, turnkey. Okay. Realistically, that deal could just like not make sense. It might, those numbers might not work for the owner at all, and they might just keep the property. Cool, doesn't matter. On to the next deal. Then we could look at, 594 Lipton, or if you want to check out 1518 Catherine. So if those deals interest you, remember, we'd always love to check it out. So if you ever want to do a in-person training, especially if you have the one-on-one access, it's not a bad idea, especially if you find a deal that you really like and you just want a second opinion. I'd love to do that. So you guys are awesome. A little bit different today. I wanted to show you a little bit of that workflow, a little bit of how I'm looking at deals right now. And then you want to also adapt this. Again, the key is to become also a critical thinker. How can you adapt this to your strategy, right? With the BRRRR, then you're going to want to make sure that those numbers at the end, when I'm actually looking at cash flow, that's going to be after you've BRRR'd it. So you'll want to actually do the BRRRR breakdown first before even looking at, hey, does this deal make sense after? Remember that double deal analysis. Today, we just looked at almost the buy and hold aspect. So you guys are awesome.
The knowledge I had with real estate wasn't that great, and that's when I knew I needed a mentor to guide me through the steps of minimizing my mistakes and obtaining property. It kept me accountable with the limited time I had after the long hours at work. It taught me things I wouldn't have learned without a mentor.
Thank you to Patrick. Big help me with pretty much everything ever since I started. So big shout out to Patrick and Alliance.
Nice. Yeah, Nick's an action taker, so we can help guide you, but you still got to do work, and Nick is a testimonial for that.
Sure.
Yeah.
And thank you again, Patrick, for this program. It changed my life. It changed my mindset. It changed everything. That was the best six weeks of my life.
I just want to give a shout out to my man Patrick. Just honestly been one of the best teachers that I've ever had.
It's a very informative course. Patrick works with you one-on-one, so if there's any questions or anything that you might be doubting or you're uncertain of, he'll definitely be there to help. Honestly, highly suggest this course. It's taught me a lot through my journey.